Yeah, like they say about living for eternity and shit like that, but then they also say that in about Christianity, like they preach that real heavy. So
Speak up. I can't hear you.
I said they say that as far as having eternal life, this, that, and the third, but they say that same stuff about Christianity. So
What do you mean when you say they say the same? The same soulless information?
yeah, well,
Yeah, they if I'm telling people that we descended planet to planet and to get to the earth to explore everything, meaning this demon land, to explore everything. But if we're going to come down to this demon land, to this earth, we're going to come down as a teacher, as someone who was given all these gifts planet to planet, and now we expose these gifts as guides to the humans on the earth, or to the people who's using the earth as a realm of sin. You understand what I'm saying? And that's a realm to go through. And then, like there, Jesus was saying, I don't know if I tell you, tell my wife that I went and applied for this job, but I didn't. Am I asking you to lie?
yeah,
All right. If I can read a Bible and Jesus told a group of people, I have not yet ascended, but go and tell them I did. Did Jesus Christ himself ask someone to lie for him?
no,
Why? How? Why not? You see the brainwash? You just said that if I told you, and you knew I didn't go apply for a job today, but I told you to go tell my wife I applied for the job, would I be lying? You said yeah.
yeah, you be
All
lying.
right. If you can read in the Bible where Jesus told a group of people, I have not yet ascended, but go and tell them that I did. Is he asking people to lie for him?
Oh, well, I guess so.
But see how it becomes, I guess, when it's Jesus? It's the same science. It's the same question. You understand? It's just like if I say right now, yo, I went outside and you was waiting for me to come back, but I drowned. And that's why it took me so long to come back 2 or 3 days later, because I was underwater for those 2 or 3 days. You wouldn't believe me, would you? Be real.
No,
All right then. But if you was reading the Bible and it says a man named Jonah slept in the belly of a whale,
I wouldn't believe that either.
no, but you know how many grown people do? You know how many people do who read the Bible that believe that a man named Jonah went into the belly of a whale and slept underwater for 2 or 3 days? Same concept. What I'm saying is when you get to the Bible, it gets brainwashed. People get brainwashed. They don't become a chemist no more. They don't question like they would question the regular part of the day, that they would question somebody on something. Like, man, that's not true. How you gonna tell me you went swimming and you drowned for 3 days? But if they read it in the Bible, they're not gonna have those same scientific questions. They're not gonna be a scientist no more. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're taught to just believe. Go into this book just believing.
So basically,
You give up your science, reading the Bible, because you already believing.
so basically, what you're saying is a regular situation you'll question it, but as soon as the Bible
That's the soul of you.
automatically
Right,
in your
right.
head,
And that's
without you even knowing,
right.
you
That's the brainwashed you.
brainwashed.
That's the brainwash. That's what I was telling you, how we've been raised towards humanity, thinking that we are part of the humans, the Adam and Eve story. The Bible has over 2 billion copies sold. It constantly has 500 million copies in circulation. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
Think of the planet that has the Bible. They're in hotel rooms. They're everywhere. They handed that to you. As many as you have just believed this. And when people ran into hope, faith, and all of that, they gave up their alchemistry. They gave up everything for belief. I don't have to be in a laboratory no more and know. But the very book that they love so much says, seek and you shall know the truth. If you look back in Genesis, one of the statements of the gods or God is, behold, the man has become one of us, knowing good from evil. If you're reading Genesis in the beginning, God breathed into man his breath of life. That man became a living soul. Period. God breathed into man and man became a living soul. What are you? A living soul or a living solar being. Divine in your right. And you got here manifest planet to planet and got given gifts on each planet, gifts of love and all of that. And to get to the earth, to serve as a savior for the humans, a solar being.
Okay.
Because and that's what they took. See that image right there of our solar being learning all his gifts and his father ordering him to, when you get to that planet, to be a teacher, teach love, teach forgiveness, so that the humans people on earth could have a sane doctrine. We didn't, when you're reading about Thoth and Hermes and Hermetic principles, that was not for us. The writing system came about for the humans. They were confused. They needed direction. We didn't have that doubt. We didn't need spirituality. We didn't need a church at one point. We didn't need shamans. We were the shamans and people of wisdom teaching other aliens or races and teaching humanity things. We are it. We didn't need the teachings. If somebody came and took you from Africa, as they teach us, we're in tribes minding our business. You bring us over to America, change our name, change our language, beat us, call us slaves, make us pick cotton for 400 years, and then give us a God called Jesus, and he's the master of forgiveness. What the hell do I need to be forgiven for?
That makes sense.
Who needs that Jesus then? The solar being that was taken from Africa? Or the white man, and I'm not racist, or the Caucasian who kidnapped you? Who need to be forgiven?
They do.
They do. So how are you going to hand me a God of forgiveness and you done kidnapped me, raped me, did this and did that? You feel me?
People don't think of it like that.
You don't think of it like that. And then here go the slick shit. And I guarantee you close your eyes on this one. Guess what the slick shit is in their book called the Bible?
What?
For love thy enemies. Then they teach you to forgive me. Forgive the slave master. Now you go at him and say, nah, my Bible tell me I got to forgive my enemies. They got it all locked.
Jesus.
Right. Do all of that. Turn the other cheek. Huh? My man.
That's some slick ass underhand.
You understand?
Shit.
Then have me a book teaching you, further brainwashing you to forgive me for what I did.
When you didn't ask for no.
And then make you pray to a God that renders forgiveness, and you don't need forgiveness. That's why Jesus ain't working for all these people. That's why they dying of cancer. He ain't working for them because you didn't need forgiveness. You understand? So when we made Hermetic principles and spiritual systems, that was for the humans. That was for them. We didn't need a doctrine. When you see 10 commandments in a Bible, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit adultery, that had nothing to do with what I just pointed out to you. When God breathed into man, he became a living soul. Didn't he walk Adam around and said, this is the river you're going to work at? This is that. Matter of fact, Adam, whatever you name things. Adamu, whatever you name things. This being was walking with God. He didn't commit adultery. He didn't steal. He didn't rob. He didn't kill. No, the solar beings, we checked on the humans, the Adam and Eves. And they were down on the earth running wild, killing and doing everything. So we made them, before we wiped them out, we gave them another chance. And we said, all right, you're going to have to live by commandments now. Tell us everything you've done, and then promise to us in commandments that you won't do it again. So the humans that were sitting, this is where they get Catholic confession boxes. This is where that comes from. Go into that box and admit all your sins. That's where the story I'm telling you from. That was them confessing to the solar gods. There was no Catholic priest in them fucking boxes listening to you. It was us guiding humanity. We came down and gave them a writing system. Thought the Hermetic principles and all that. What the hell if God breathed into me my breath of life? What the fuck else do I need? You telling me I sinned from there?
You don't need nothing.
I don't need nothing. God breathed into man his breath of life. Man became a living soul. You have a solar story. And then there's a human story that has nothing to do with you.
So everybody is caught up on the humans.
Everybody's caught up on a human story because we've been kidnapped and brought over here. And by the time we evolved here, from our grandparents and teaching us this crap, this Christianity crap, this Jesus garbage. Forgive me for those who love him, but it's trash. And I'll destroy you, your pastor, your minister, whoever you bring, whatever clergy you bring in front of me. I'll annihilate him. Pantheism for pantheism about a man called Jesus Christ. I stand firm on solar information. It's stolen from what I'm telling you right now.
So that means everybody fucked.
We came down here and was taught to teach all of this stuff. And the humans looked at that system, this prodigal son, one of the solar gods, teaching all of this beautiful healing stuff. This going around and healing and teaching all the sciences and telling you to love and forgive. There wasn't no goddamn Jesus. It was a solar being that manifests. And we were showing people what life is, not how to move through life as a God. You have to have humanity. You have to have, you have to have healing power. You have to know what herbs to go out and get. He mastered the earth to know how to heal people. This was a solar God. Later on, it became a Christ figure. This is what they're using. That's why Christ is a beautiful doctrine, because they took from the solar God everything he was doing and teaching. But we cannot allow the humans to see that when they manifest, they're green and olive tone or brown. Brown only because after the years of being on the earth, we lost magnesium in our diet. So we begin to rust or brown. But before that, if you look on any Egyptian hieroglyphics, you'll see how Osiris depicted it as green. Because when you come from different atmospheres, when you go to the beach right now, don't your skin turn a different color? Yeah. Well, when you come from different atmospheres, the sun has a different effect on your skin color. And because of what these solar gods was made up of, their skins were green. Why do you think dinosaurs are green? Why do you think vegetation is green? Why do you think reptilian, all that's green? Turtles, serpent, green. Right? Dinosaurs forever. We took on the dinosaur genetic, because we brought him here first to work the earth as Tonka trucks and vacuum cleaners and everything, and to defecate into the earth and to bring forth fertilization and to bring up plant life. And then when we wiped the dinosaur out by way of fusion bomb, we used the material of the dinosaur that was still in the earth to genetically take on, when we personify down here to the 3D realm, we use the dinosaur genetic. Why? Because before we brought the dinosaur to the earth to work, we knew the dinosaur was going to gobble up everything on the earth. So we had a genetic in the dinosaur that was immune to everything on the earth. Why do you think a snake? Why do you think the Egyptians wear snake on their pharaoh hats? How can you poison a snake when a snake is poison? Okay. What can a snake eat on the planet Earth that can make him sick or give him a disease? Nothing. This is why we use that genetic. We knew the genetic that was already immune to the planet. So we took it on and put that genetic over our solar light, calling you, which we call now a body. Just to cover the light, we use genetics. The dinosaur, that's the alligator skin you see when you don't put Vaseline on. It cracks up like an alligator. Right. So this is a thin suit. This is a wetsuit.
As far as what you said, like for example about the snake, so that's why we can get sick or whatever, but we won't necessarily die like that.
Well, it was a time you couldn't get sick, as them solar gods walked through the earth with that serpent genetic. They understood that everything before they got to the earth, they sent serpents in. Zigzag, zig, as electrical. The first serpent wasn't a snake. Everything we did, we dropped into water. So before we actually got to the creation of a snake that you would look at as a king cobra or a python, it was electric eels in the water. It's a snake. Oh, it's a live wire. That makes sense. You understand? That's what you call the things in the earth, the fault lines. Snakes move like cracks, like fault lines. You got to send that into the earth to test things. You understand what I'm saying? You have to send catfish in to eat out everything, gut out everything. That was the dinosaur gutting out the earth, bringing forth plant life. You understand? And getting everything ready. But that dinosaur could not be sick or get sick by anything. So when the Bible goes back and say, and God formed man from the dust of the earth, it was from the dinosaur genetic. Well, what else was in the earth? After we got rid of the dinosaurs, their genetics are still in the earth. When human beings died, where did their body go? Into the earth. You understand?
That makes sense.
So you can go back into that man. Right now, if I killed somebody, if someone killed somebody, he still has semen in him. You can go into his nutsack while he's dead. Cut out a certain part. Take the semen, test tube it, shoot it into another baby, another woman, and he's resurrected. That's the story of Osiris, Isis, and Horus. when Osiris was killed by his brother. He went somewhere, his brother killed him, but Isis came, found him, put his body parts back together, and she performed surgery while he was so-called dead and took out his semen sac, inserted it in herself, impregnated herself, and had Haru. They said Horus was dead. How did you do this? Immaculate conception. This is where the Bible steals it from. Why they say Mary had Jesus by immaculate conception. They're stealing Egyptian stories. So when we gave these beings orders to tell us what they was doing on earth, they said we was killing, we was committing adultery, we was doing everything. This is the humans talking, and the solar beings came to them. Think of Catholic priests in the box and sinners coming in that box to confess. That's where they get it from. When the solar being got there and they're teaching, so many of the humans were being converted by that doctrine that they was confessing what they have done. So much to the solar beings had to make sure y'all don't do this no more on earth. Find a part in your Bible where Enki was creating or advancing the humans, and his other brother, another god, came in and said, are you going to create a man that's going to cause mischief? And it says, God said, I know what you know not. Because it was two gods talking to him. But don't believe me, look it up in your Bible. You can merely talk into Google. In biblical quote, God said, are you going to create man that's going to cause mischief? Well, what are you talking about? That's what's the human. When you advance him, he begin to cause mischief. So he had to repeat to us what he was doing, and he had to confess that he wouldn't do it again. And we gave him commandments in his life. Told him he should work by the sweat of his brow, the human. And told him, here's your commandments. Thou shalt not kill, since you admitted to killing. Thou shalt not commit adultery, since you admitted to committing adultery. Thou shalt not lie, since y'all admitted to lying. Thou shalt not steal, since y'all admitted to stealing. They grew us up thinking those are our 10 commandments. So if those are our 10 commandments, you're telling us we was killing. We was committing adultery. We was stealing. Because we got these 10 commandments. No, humans got those 10 commandments. Why? It started with Cain. Didn't Cain all right then. If this is not the solar gods in control, you know your elements because I teach them to you, or Morpheus teaches them to you. We're carbon-based people. I'm telling you, solar people are carbon from the sun, right? Carbon is 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. 666. When Cain killed Abel, one of us, Ab-El, Elohim, and El, he killed an elder. His brother was from the other side, a solar god, and he was jealous of him because he could not do the things or the solar god can do because he was from an advancement. He didn't have the solar in him. He was just going to head the humans. And Cain did not have that solar light in him to know right from wrong. So when they tested them and sent them out to see who can plant the right foods or who know how to be a farmer, Cain didn't know how to be a farmer. Remember, the solar god got taught to till the earth, right in Genesis. Showed him east rivers and all that. In the ground he was going to till.
I remember a little bit about that story.
Right, he was supposed to till the ground. So he was a master of it. So that's why Abel was able to go out and get the best of everything. Cain didn't know how to do it. So he got jealous of the solar god and killed him. They killed. Cain slew Abel. Ab-El, Elohim. One of the solar beings. And what do we mark? And if he wasn't one of our creations, then I tell you what, you touch Cain. Because right in the biblical text, it states, not that we believe it, but they're stealing stories, that nobody, because Cain was worried that when he get out there for what he did, he was going to get pressured for it. Yeah. So God came back in and marked Cain's head. First tattoo in creation. 666. He's a solar being. We're putting our mark on him. Nobody, how I know I'm true? Because then gave the order, nobody better not touch him. Whoever touches Cain, now he just killed somebody. But God gave the order, whoever touches him, he'll bring punishment on them tenfold. So what the fuck is a preacher telling me Cain to attack the devil or attack Cain when right here he was marked 666? And what Cain did was took that 666 and built an empire off of it, off of solar 666. So your Visa, your MasterCard, all of that is 666. V in Roman numerals, the 5 with the 1 next to it makes it 6. A S and an A in Arabic, look it up, equals 6. That's 666.
That's deep.
Okay? On the back of your iPhone is an apple half bit off. And it's what's called an iPhone. Look at the eye of Amun Ra watching over you. Why is it a half an apple bit? Why can't I go to the Bible and Eve bit an apple? Wouldn't that be in half an apple? Isn't this an iPhone? Doesn't the Bible say he would not be able to buy nor sell without the mark of the beast? Can't you buy and sell things with your iPhone now? Can't you pay your bills? Can't you go online shopping? Can't you buy or sell with this 666 gadget that's radiating us and blinding us when we look into these YouTube and go online, Instagram and all that, and YouTube and Facebook too long? That's 666. This is this. Nobody will be able to move in the world. So everybody got an iPhone going to church is bringing the devil into church with them. Anybody got an iPhone is walking around with Satan's toy on them. Because you don't have telepathy no more. You can't think. The phone is offering you more memory. Here, I'll memorize it for you, not your mind. So the humans were given commandments. And they gave us and said, God said, here's 10 commandments. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not do. No, that's bullshit. That's all bullshit. That was the humans that was given 10 commandments. We manifest down here, taught a beautiful doctrine to the humans. They started confessing to us as they build their empires. Cain built his land of Nod, his demonic world, his 6 flags. Why do you think it's called Great Adventures? How many flags? 6. 666. 6 here. That's all his toys and roller coasters and haunted houses and all. We don't really supposed to attend all that. Those are dangerous toys when you go to an amusement park. Way up in the air on carousels, on roller coasters that flip over and all of those are satanic toys. It's not agriculture. It's not chess. We deal with the mental, astral, celestial. You understand? So when we taught that doctrine that they built their empire and become Romans or from the Greeks and all of that, from the Egyptians to the Greeks to the Romans, and they began to take that whole pantheism, that doctrine that the solar god was teaching, and they had painters by that time, like Michelangelo and all of that.
Right.
So they asked them to paint a man's face and attribute him with all of those attributes from that solar god. You understand what I'm saying? And one of their first name was they get the word Christ from us because when we got down here, it was crystallized. In our manifestations, somewhere in our manifestations on one of those planets, we were crystal beings before we fully manifested into the bone structure. Before your bone structure, we were crystal beings. Right? And the crystal beings was the ones teaching this beautiful doctrine. So they stole that and call it a Christ or a Christ doctrine from the crystal beings.
So that's the part they don't teach everybody.
That's the part they don't teach you. Crystal is not a name. It's a mineral or something like that. What is crystal? Crystal is, let's just skip on because my mind is, I don't want to say the wrong thing. But crystal beings are what we were. That's what you would call after our etheric or whatever, as we personifying, then we took on a bone structure. You understand? But the crystal beings had that beautiful doctrine of peace, love, and forgiveness. So they shortened that, and when they said they had a discoverer called Christopher Columbus, or the Christ, or Christ. That's the Christ. That's where they get that from. New name now, the Christ. Why Romans are calling a beautiful pantheism Christ? They're taking it from the crystal beings that came down here and taught it. So they asked Michelangelo to paint, the Sistine Chapel, and then paint a picture of a being that we would call God. And we say he came into the world. And he taught a doctrine of love and peace and all that. But by the time these slaves see him, they're going to be viewing him out of the book called Bible. Not text, not scrolls, not hieroglyphics. We're going to be done change all of those epics and sagas and put them into stories and say, here, this is the greatest story ever told. You understand that? This is the greatest story ever told. Didn't teach you that if you lie in school, you're storytelling. What is a lie? It's a story, right? What is the Bible? The greatest what? Story ever told. You feel me? Do all y'all feel me out there? I mean, it's a lot of y'all are quiet, but we in class, and I see y'all writing and reading. But that's where they stole it from and called this thing the Christ. So by the time we, in life, as coming out of slavery and all that kind of stuff, in whatever year that was, 72, I don't be knowing history like that. But here's more proof to strengthen what I'm telling you. You check this. After slavery, whatever that's the emancipation, proclamation, whatever, don't you know 2 million black families wanted by will of their own self to stay slaves and looked at white men and said, they're wrong, master. What could be better than staying here and staying in slavery?
Right, because they didn't know
They
nothing
did it.
other than that.
Okay, now what I'm telling you, by the time it evolved, we would hand it this Jesus. If you look at the Nat Turner story, they're actually telling to you. They're lying to you right there. You could see it in that movie. He didn't want to do it. He didn't want to teach that garbage. They're telling you right there to change people using this book of magic. It's really astrology. If you look through the Bible, you got Job 9:9 would teach you about Pleiades, Arcturus. Luke 22:10 or 22:22. It teaches you about, it goes zodiac on you. It tells you about a man pouring out a pail of water, which is the Aquarius sign. You understand? Ezekiel's will is describing an aircraft. It's describing what they would falsely translate as the Holy Ghost, which is no more than a spaceship that was hovering over the planet when we got here. But they didn't know how to read our writings, our texts and stuff like that. So they mistranslated them. So they said the Spirit of God moved across the earth. Yeah, the gods came, the Spirit of them, but they wasn't moving in nothing but a vehicle, a UFO, Crystal City, thy kingdom come, whatever you want to call it in the Bible, but you're admitting it because you say the kingdom is coming. How is it coming if it's standing still? You understand what I'm saying? So, and then this had to be beings in the water, because if the earth was without form, who's telling this story? Who the fuck is the one saying the Spirit of God roamed across the earth? God didn't say, and my spirit was hovering across the earth. Who's saying this? Who's writing it? It's the very beginning. It says the earth was void and without form. Who's talking and saying that? Who's telling you the earth was void without form? No humans, nothing. So who the fuck's talking? And the Spirit of God moved across whatever. It didn't say my spirit. God's supposed to be talking, right? He's supposed to say, my spirit moved across such and such and such. But it didn't. The Spirit of God. So who's talking? Has to be beings that's already in the water looking up. Think about being in a pool. You can look up and look out into the sun from underneath the water. So whoever was writing this was great cities that was under the water. First spotting that a UFO is hovering. Like people are looking up now, but we're on land. We're surface people now. We're just looking up, seeing the UFOs, saying those are the aliens. But way back then, if we were still in the water, which life has proved us, that cities like Atlantis and all that was underwater, these were the underwater beings writing these scrolls. The winners of the war. The fallen angels. So everything we got from them. So they taught us that good was bad and that bad was good. Everything you see in the Bible, the serpent is bad. No, it's not. The serpent is good. And we don't know these things. So when you get writing systems and all that, that was not for us, because a writing system really is the beginning of confusion. A lot of these so-called conscious teachers don't want to teach all that. They want to go on with the Hermetic principles, which are great. Unflawed, don't get me wrong. Great doctrines, if for the people who needed them at that time. Do we need them now? Hell yeah, us blacks need them. Do I need them? Yes, I do. I'm not against them. I want people to share when they're going all into the stuff or emerald tablets or Hermetic principles. It wasn't for the solar people. That was for the humans who was running wild on the earth and they needed a spiritual doctrine. How the fuck God breathed into me a breath of life and I become a living soul from God? I am spiritual. I am the spiritual system. We set the bar for what it is to be moral human. It is just by moving, manifesting through the earth, through planets receiving these gifts. We was the only ones that got it. We got here, begin creating. Whatever we created didn't have the gifts that we had. We're the solar beings. We set Adam and Eve into a fucking garden. See what they could do. Let me see if they fucking have a baby. See if we did this right and gave them the right system now to reproduce. You understand what I'm saying?
So basically, we like mini creators, basically.
We are creators. We created creatures. We manifest or personified and then created creatures using animal genetic. Only reason they got a spark of life is because we had to use some of our own. So only one, y'all slick dudes out there with these white women, only thing a white woman can do, because Europeans or the East Indian or anything, and I'm not racist, I'm speaking facts, are made up of animal genetics. Stop thinking that we have to have a diet of human beings, of plant life and all of that, and vegetarian life. That's bullshit. That's for the humans. We need minerals. Soul was put into minerals first. As the gods hovered and personified, that's when I told y'all that man was here before minerals. We hovered above the planet in pockets until everything was personifying, getting ready to the minerals process, and everything was ready. Then we planted our soul into minerals. So it's minerals what you need to get back. Why do you think rich people take mineral baths and they talk about minerals? And they give you medicine and chemotherapy and all that kind of crap, and diets of vegan and seeds and it could be no seeds if it wasn't minerals. Am I right? Am I lying?
No,
it could be no seeds. Seeds come out of minerals. Minerals are first.
So basically,
that's why we're taught to mine for minerals, master them, transfer copper and lead into gold. This is alchemistry. This is what we were doing. We were dealing with the elements. That's why all I do is deal with elements. I don't deal with nothing else but elements. Somebody asked me how I'm doing. I'm dealing with these elements, man. Trying to master my being. I met a beautiful sister the other day online. I said, how you doing? She said, I'm feeling divine in my being. And she just a sister and just lift my whole day with her strength. Imagine if we go around the world and there's beautiful sisters like that everywhere lifting their men up, and we'll war for you. You understand? Just like I told you, we'll war for you. But they're not sharing with you everything the thought system was about. When you get writing, is because you needed more definition. Somebody was confused. We wasn't confused. We were the shamans. Shambhala, Agrata, when you hear me talk about that, those were underground places that we personified as shamans and Dalai Lamas and all that, and yogis and all that, to go in and people could come to us and we'd teach them a spiritual system, Kundalini, whatever you want to call it today. God has just moved back. She had leaned out. She said she was tired. She was leaning this way. And then she just leaned up on her own. But that's what's going on, man.
So basically, everybody got this brainwashed with a human mindset.
With human behavior.
Bullshit.
Right. That's why we're killers. That's why we're educated. That's why we're smart. All of that's human behavior. So that means we're not, if we're killers, educated, and smart, we're not agriculturists. You understand what I'm saying? Enlightened and have wisdom. That's what they took us from. We're not killers. We are creators. Agriculturists. You understand that? Enlightened people with wisdom. But as human form, as we got taught humanity, we became killers, educated people, smart enough to remember our education, to take tests and go be degreed. And that's the life we're living now, human life. And we think that's a part of us. We think we die at 60 and 65. And we don't understand the transferring of energy. Solar beings don't die. We multiply or we just rejuvenate. We just keep going on and on. We are